Have you ever wondered where the air you breathe comes from? Most of us rarely pause to consider the origins of something so essential, so constant, that it fades into the background of our daily lives. Yet, every breath we take is a silent connection to the living world around us. Every breath is a gift from the natural world, trees and plants quietly sustaining us. They work tirelessly, filtering the air, absorbing carbon dioxide, and releasing the oxygen that fills our lungs. Without their unseen labor, life as we know it would simply not exist. We depend on nature for clean air, water, and food, yet rarely notice this invisible lifeline. The water that quenches our thirst, the food that nourishes our bodies all originate from complex natural systems working in harmony. These gifts are so woven into our routines that we often take them for granted. Our modern lives have distanced us from these sources. We buy food from stores, drink water from taps, and forget the ecosystems behind them. The convenience of modern living can make it easy to overlook the intricate web of life that supports us, from the soil beneath our feet to the rain that falls from the sky. This unconscious dependence breeds apathy, making it easy to overlook the slow degradation of our environment. When forests are cut down, rivers polluted, or air filled with smog, the consequences may not be immediate, but they are profound and far-reaching. Like trusting a house's foundation without checking for cracks, we ignore nature's warning signs. We assume the systems that support us will always be there, strong and unchanging even as subtle damage accumulates beneath the surface. When the foundation crumbles, the whole house falls, and so it is with our planet. If we continue to ignore the signs, the collapse of natural systems will have consequences for every aspect of our lives. The first step to healing is transforming our unconscious reliance into conscious appreciation. By becoming aware of our dependence, we can begin to value and protect the natural world, fostering a sense of gratitude and responsibility. Recognizing that the health of forests and rivers is directly tied to our own well-being changes everything. It shifts our perspective, reminding us that our fate is inseparable from the fate of the planet. This awareness is the seed for stewardship, inspiring us to protect the very systems that sustain our lives. When we nurture nature, we nurture ourselves, and ensure a thriving world for generations to come. My journey toward a conscious connection with nature began not in a remote wilderness, but in the familiar spaces I called home. I used to think that meaningful encounters with the wild required grand adventures or distant travels, but I soon discovered that nature's wonders can be found right outside your door. It was in my own backyard, surrounded by the ordinary sights and sounds of suburban life, that I first felt the pull to look more closely at the world around me. Driven by a desire to find more nutritious, local food, I began to notice plants I'd previously ignored. That's when I discovered stinging nettle, a plant most people avoid, yet one that's incredibly rich in vitamins, minerals, and healing properties. Its reputation for causing discomfort made me cautious but also curious. As I read about its benefits and learned from foragers and herbalists, my perspective shifted. Nettle was no longer just a weed to be pulled. It became a hidden gift, a symbol of resilience and abundance growing quietly at the edge of my awareness. I learned to identify and harvest it safely, moving mindfully and respecting its sting. Wearing gloves, I picked only what I needed, always leaving enough for the plant to thrive. This practice taught me patience and gratitude, and reminded me to approach nature with humility. Cooking and eating nettle was transformative. The simple act of preparing wild greens in my kitchen connected me to the land in a new way. The taste was earthy and vibrant, and I felt nourished not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually as well. That meal awakened a conscious need, not just for nutrition, but for a deeper relationship with the landscape that sustains me. I realized that every bite was a conversation with the earth, a reminder of the interconnectedness of all living things. Nettle became a symbol of nature's generosity, waiting to be noticed by those willing to look beyond appearances. Its presence reminded me that the land offers gifts to those who approach with respect and curiosity. This experience taught me that value in nature is inherent, not assigned by human judgment. Even the most overlooked plants have a role and a purpose, contributing to the richness of the ecosystem. My relationship with the wild shifted from passive to active, personal, and meaningful. I became more attentive, more willing to learn from the land and its rhythms. I realized that nature isn't just a backdrop, it's a living pantry and pharmacy, offering nourishment and healing to those who seek it with care. All it takes is curiosity and openness to see the world differently. When we slow down and pay attention, even the most ordinary places can become extraordinary, and every encounter with the wild can be a lesson in gratitude and wonder. Once I needed stinging nettle, my behavior changed. I became its steward, not just a forager. I visited the wild patch regularly, harvesting sustainably and caring for the plants. Eventually, I transplanted nettle into my own garden, blurring the line between wild and cultivated. This act transformed my backyard into a place of connection and sustenance. My curiosity expanded. I learned to identify dandelions, elderberries, and wild mulberries. The landscape became a community of individuals, each with its own story and potential relationship. My conscious need for one plant blossomed into curiosity for all. When you need something from nature, you start to care for its health and well-being. Stewardship becomes personal, rooted in daily life. It starts with one plant, one tree, one river, and grows from there. This is how a conscious need transforms apathy into engagement. When we lack a conscious need for nature, neglect takes root in our landscapes. Abandoned lots become overrun with invasive species, offering little value to wildlife or people. Mature forests on the edge of towns are seen as empty land, ripe for development, not as vital ecosystems. Without a felt need for their gifts, forests are easily sacrificed for short-term gain. The result? We lose resilience, beauty, and a vital connection to our heritage. This isn't malice, it's ignorance born of disconnection. Our priorities shape the land. More parking lots, fewer prairies, more strip malls, fewer streams. In losing these places, we lose parts of ourselves and our shared story. The tragedy is not just ecological loss, but the severing of our own roots. Our disconnect from nature has real costs, affecting health, safety, and finances. Invasive shrubs like Japanese barberry thrive in neglected forests, creating habitats for disease-carrying ticks. If we needed healthy forests for food or recreation, we'd manage them, preventing such problems. Instead, we treat symptoms, spraying chemicals, building expensive infrastructure, while ignoring root causes. Wetlands, too, are undervalued and destroyed, leading to polluted water and costly floods. Nature's free services are lost, replaced by expensive fixes. These issues aren't random, they're the price of neglecting our place in the natural world. Our apathy makes the world not just less beautiful, but more dangerous and expensive. Imagine if our conscious needs shaped our landscapes. An abandoned lot could become a community orchard, a source of food and beauty. A forest valued for its acorns, mushrooms, and wildlife would be protected, not paved over. Its worth would be measured in health and abundance, not dollars. Reviving ancient practices like prescribed fire could restore resilient, diverse woodlands. Our cities could be interwoven with productive green spaces, not just ornamental ones. This isn't a fantasy. It's a practical vision, achievable if we wake up to our deepest needs. Landscapes of care would replace landscapes of neglect. We'd become active participants in the web of life, not just consumers. The world would be more beautiful, abundant, and resilient. A conscious need for nature is powerful, but it must be rooted in gratitude and respect. If we care only for what benefits us, we risk new forms of exploitation. Gratitude arises when we recognize air, water, and food as gifts, not entitlements. This feeling inspires us to give back, turning stewardship into a joyful act. Respect means valuing nature's inherent worth, beyond its usefulness to us. A mountain, river, or species has a right to exist, whether or not it serves us. True conservation is not human-centric. It's about humility and shared responsibility. Our actions today shape the world for future generations. Love, gratitude, and respect fuel long-term care for the planet. Personal connection sparks change, but universal reverence sustains it. Healing our relationship with Earth requires both. How do you start building a conscious connection? The journey begins with a single step, an intention to notice, to be present, and to care. It's not about grand gestures or instant expertise, but about opening yourself to the world around you, one moment at a time. Begin with small acts of awareness. Pause to pick up a piece of litter, or simply notice the way sunlight filters through the leaves. These little choices are invitations to connect, to become part of the living story, unfolding all around you. You don't need expertise, just curiosity. Let yourself wonder about the plants at your feet or the birds overhead. Curiosity is the spark that lights the path to deeper understanding. Next time you're outside, notice the trees as individuals. Each one has its own story, its own shape and texture. Try to see them not as a background, but as neighbors sharing your world. Learn the name of one. When you name a tree or a plant, you begin to see it as a living being, not just scenery. This simple act can shift your perspective in powerful ways. Naming is the first step to relationship. It's how we move from seeing nature as it to recognizing you. Speak the name aloud, write it down, or share it with a friend. Engage your senses. Feel the sun on your skin. Listen to the birds. Smell a leaf. Taste a wild berry. Let nature fill your senses and awaken your attention. Each sense is a doorway to connection. These experiences ground us in the living world. When you sit quietly or walk barefoot on the earth, you remember that you belong here too. Ask where your water and food come from. Let your curiosity extend to the sources of your daily life. Every meal and every sip is a thread connecting you to the land and the people who care for it. Trace them back to their sources. Imagine the journey of a river or the hands that harvested your food. This awareness brings gratitude and a sense of responsibility. Understanding these connections deepens appreciation and care. When you see how your life is woven into the web of nature, you naturally want to protect and nurture it. Find what you need from nature: a quiet walk, a beautiful view, a place to recharge. Make it your own, visit often, and let it become a sanctuary for your spirit. Let your need for it inspire stewardship. When you care for a place, even in small ways, you become part of its story and its future. Your personal connection is the hook that transforms dependence into care. Start small. Let curiosity lead you. Over time, these small acts grow into a deep, lasting relationship. This is how you build a powerful, conscious relationship with the planet. One step, one question, one moment of wonder at a time. The scale of environmental challenges can feel overwhelming, but change begins with small steps. Learning a tree's name, caring for a plant, or feeling gratitude for a river, these acts matter. When multiplied, they create waves of transformation in communities. We start to see possibilities. Empty lots become orchards, lawns become pollinator gardens. This shift empowers us, giving purpose and agency. Imagine a world where gratitude for nature is the norm, and decisions are made for long-term health. This future isn't distant, it starts now in our homes and neighborhoods. Every tree planted, every riverbank cleaned, is a vote for a better world. Reconnection is the path forward. Our health and future are tied to the planet's. By awakening our conscious need and fostering gratitude, we heal both Earth and ourselves.